Hi, welcome. We are working on the signature that will go in our completed album, and it will be on page 1. So this is where we are working. Oh, and I decided to change up my ribbon, and this I'm going to use for accenting my pockets, and I wanted to put some beautiful crocheted ribbon and pearls on the edges. So yay for me putting down the tape on those yesterday. So now we're going to go ahead and work on this one. All right, so here we go. Working with the wood panel for our back page. The reverse side, it has the cake and the beautiful array of flowers across the top, but I want the wood side. In your scraps, hopefully you have this long blue piece. Get this apart here. And it will do just perfect with accenting this wood piece here. This is just a whitewash panel, it looks like, with some beautiful stenciled in floral arrangements, and I'm going to put that right here using the blue cardstock, which helps to pull those colors out. And then I'm using this ephemera piece along with one of the leaves. It's going to tuck in right underneath there. And then I cut out this statement, and we're going to, I don't know if I want to put it on the top or the bottom, but we'll put it in here someplace. So this is what we have. Oh, you know, we could just kind of overlay it like this. How's that? That works. Here is my die cut. And then this is the small pearl and ribbon that I'm going to use for my pockets. I'm also using one of the cutouts that says always, and I'm going to put that up here in this corner. So let's go ahead and let's get this assembled, and then we can work on the flaps. So this is going to measure at 9 1/4 inches across. So 9 1/4 by 8 7/8. I'm just going to go ahead and glue this right away, kind of get it out of the way. I just want this kind of cantered just a little bit up here at this corner. Now this pocket is going to measure the 8 7/8 in the height, and it is 2 1/4 inches across, not counting any die cut or punch that you choose to use. So 2 1/4 across by 8 7/8. My pieces want to flop around here, so let's get some tape. And get this assembled. All right, burnish. And then I'm gonna, oh, I need to snip some off here real quick. There we go. Okay, down here in this corner, flat across the bottom, and then we'll just lay it right up there. Okay, and then we're going to glue this piece in. Now remember, I'm not doing any inking. It's kind of strange for me, to be honest. I feel like I'm forgetting something. lay this in there. And then I am going to take a strip of tape to lay across here. And then I think I'm going to also add a bead of glue, because I know that the combination of both of them will ensure that this does not come apart. The tape will hold it in place, the glue will set. Okay, there we go. I am going to turn that over. And I'm going to burnish from the reverse side. All right, so then I will take my little phrase. You know, I was wondering about that. So if I trim that right there and right there, oh, perfect. Goes in there rather nicely. Okay. I'm glad I didn't put that down. Well, I guess I could have put it down first and then put this, but it works. Okay, let's see if I'm lucky enough. Nope, that's tearing the paper. There we go. Now this is where I'm going to have to trim, because I wonder if I can lift this up and slip this up underneath there. I did not anticipate putting the lace down, so I'm going to have to snip just the tip of this flower off, or leaf, so that the page can flex open and close and not push up against that. All right, let's see if we can get this leaf. See, this is, and I get it? Nope, it's tearing. Okay, I'm done. I'm done messing with it. Okay, so that's done. All right, let's get our right side panel cut and placed in. All right, the right side panel is going to measure at 7 1/8 across with a 1/2 inch score and a 5/8 score. And obviously it's going to be the 8 7/8, which is the height of this. And as always, we're going to pull this right up to that 1/2 inch score line, because I want this hinge that we're making on top. Beautiful. I'm just kind of creasing that. All right, so now we are on there. Now there is a green piece in your collection. It has this beautiful floral on the back, but it's the green piece that I want, and it's going to lay here like so. Excuse me. Oh, I almost blew it. It's going to lay in here like so. But before I place it down, I need to put a magnet, but I need to put this on this piece. You're going to use out of the 22 pack. I'm using, you use whatever ones you want, but I'm using the ones with the two bluebirds that say together and then their matching pair on the reverse side. So this panel piece measures at about 4 1/4 across by 5 1/2 inches. I've scored it at a 1/2 inch. I ran my tape and it's going to fold under, and I'm going to center it on this piece here. So I'm going to get this centered, and I need to do this first because I keep forgetting, and then I put things on backwards. Okay, there we go. All right, now I got to put another strip of tape here on the back side. So then this will come in here and it will lay right in here. And then our panel pieces will go here. But before I can put this down, like I said, I've got to place a magnet. That's what this circle is reminding me, is I got to place my magnet. And to place my magnet, I need to get my left side panel prepped and ready to go. So the left side panel is going to measure at 6 3/8 across by 8 7/8 your height. And again, I'm going to come up to this 1/2 inch score line because I want the hinge on the top. Oh, I got an ugly piece of tape there, but that's okay. And then I'm going to push that back and reinforce that one score line. Okay, now I had to be kind of creative as to where I wanted that magnet to go. I needed my pencil mark. Oh, where is my pencil? I needed my pencil mark on the outside. This is going to be I'm trying to just figure out what I'm doing here. Just a second. I don't have a choice. It's gonna have to be left over right because of where the magnets need to be placed. I don't know why I can't place it. I'm thinking here out loud, excuse me. I'm right on top when I go this way, but I'm not when I go this way. So let me get some magnets out here. And I'm going to put just a little bit of tape over this guy to hold it in place. And then I'm going to take a piece of paper, a dab of glue, and then I'm going to fold this over. Well, that's landing in the same spot. I don't know. Well, you know what? If that's the case, I'm taking this off here. So stop doing what you're doing. I really want this on the underside. I really want this on the top. And I thought I was saving myself some room by putting that on the bottom, but that's not what just turned out to be the case. So I need to wipe the glue off of this side. And I'm going to come over this way. And I'll show you why I really wanted it this way. I'm just going to back it up a little bit. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and let's finish covering our inside. Green panels. You're going to have one here, and you're going to have one over on the left side, and we have a bottom pocket that we're going to build here and on the other side. So we can go ahead and let's just cover these. I'll get organized here in a minute. I've made some changes, and so I'm still kind of rattling those through my overactive imagination. Now, like I said, you can use any set of card embellishments that you want to use. Okay. Now I'm going to tape this side. I guess I didn't, well, see, I am just so out of sorts right at the moment. I knew I needed to put tape on that, but I could have just waited. That should be settled back down in there now. I'm going to line this up. I will pull the tape off once I get this set in here. And I'm going to use the tape that's on the magnet to hold it in place. I found, at least for me, you might have a different way to mount this piece, but I found for me that this laid down better when I attached it to my pattern paper. So that's why I did it the way that I did. So now we're going to go and get over here and do the matching left side panel. Now here's my magnet. I needed to make sure it wasn't going to be interfered here with this. So right there it is. Oh, I forgot something. Hold on just a minute. Got things moving all over the place here, and I'm burying things, so I am forgetting. I'm being such a bad girl here. All right, we're going to make a bottom pocket here. Let's see if I can get these off of here. Okay, so the blue piece measures 2¼ inches high by 8 3/8. It will come just inside. I'm going to start here at this hinge and take it out to the end here, because if I need to make an adjustment, here's where I want to make it. So if I've got to move it this way a little bit in order for this to close, I don't want it hanging up in there. Okay, so I'm going to start here. Make sure that can close. And then I'm going to come out here to this edge. And then this beautiful little piece, we've got that 12 by 12 that we're working off of, and then on the back side, oh, that's kind of pretty too. Oh. Which side do I want? Do I want this big side or do I want this small side? I think I want... No, I'm going to stick with my original because I think this beautiful green right here really pulls the green out of that paper. And it's such a soft, beautiful green, and these are such tiny, precious flowers on the reverse side. And this is just cut to fit. And then I'm adding my beaded trim here. And then I'm going to run another bead of glue here. So, and I'm going to pull this off the end a little bit because I want this to be able to lay over. There's going to be enough bulk with this being on here. And I still want that to somewhat lay over. So, can't help. I want pretties. I don't want flat, everything being flat just so something lays over. Okay. And then I took two of the words, they say celebrate happiness. And then in between there, we're going to have a little bluebird, one of the ephemera bluebirds. So celebrate happiness. And I'm not going to try and get this off this bluebird. It's just would be testing my patience. So I'm just not going to mess with it. All right, so that's now done. Okay. You know, I could could, this is taped because I haven't laid the other side yet. I could release the tape and pull this up. Why don't I do that? I know somebody there out in YouTube land is going, how come you just don't raise it up? So that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm just gonna very carefully lift this. This should separate. Come all the way down here. And I'm gonna snip the tape here. I will fix that in a second. So I'm gonna, and I gotta snip the tape here. Yeah. I'm gonna raise this up and over, and the only way I can get in is to seal this down now is to, where'd my lid go? Is to run some tape. And listen to me, some glue here to secure it down. Okay, that lays down much better. So now, when I come over here, I'm gonna mount this first, and then I'll put that on so I'll know where I want my adjustments to be, because where am I at on this? I'm about a 1/2 inch, thereabouts. Yeah, 1/2 inch. So same thing. This will eventually get glued down. I'm gonna put on this pocket. This one is 2 1/4 high, but because the page is shorter, this is shorter. So this is 5 5/8. Do you ever have those days that you feel like nothing's coming together right? Well, for me, this is kind of one of those days. It feels like it, at least. Okay, let's put this on. I can't do that because this piece is wider than this, so I need to get this down. I am just going to have to trust myself, and that this is going to go down at about a 1/2 inch so that it matches the other side. Yes, I'll be fine. So I can glue this side. Okay. Now I can set this in. So I want to come just inside that hinge, follow this across, there we go. And then the one I'm picking here for the outside is Love. And then its matching half is this one. Okay, and now we'll put the bottom piece here. It's going to be that same pattern piece. I'm using this statement, "In your arms I am home." And we have another bluebird that I'm going to set in here. I have stickies on my fingers so everything's flying away, and then we're going to put it down another one of these ribbons. So let's get this down first. I need to clean my fingers off real quick. Hold on. I had a fight with the glue bottle. I ended up with glue all over my fingers. Get that centered. And then where do I want to place him at? I don't want him covering up the words, so I think I'll put him right down here at this end. And then I'm going to take and a little bit of glue so that everybody stays put. I think I like this, and this type of ribbon that I'm using, depending upon how and where you cut it, one end is better for going in along this spine here, this hinge, and the other one's better to be open to the outside. Okay, that's done. So this is what you have here. So you've got a nice big spot here to put a large photo. You've got a pocket to tuck in memorabilia. And then you have your photo here. Big space here for putting in some photos or maybe even some hand journaling with a nice pocket. And then you have another photo or journaling with a nice spot over here. So now this is going to close. It's going to be right over left. And I'll show you why. So this is the piece that I cut across here. And then the other half to this is what's going on the underside. And I'll just have to be mindful that that magnet's a little close to my edge, but I'll make it work. So this is sitting like this, And then on this side, we're going to have a nice long pocket. And I fussy cut her out, and she'll go here along the bottom. So then when this closes, she shows. That's why I really wanted it to go this way. Now, up here, you can put a statement if you wish, or you can leave this open to put a nice, beautiful photo here, maybe a photo of the bride and the groom, something that you can put across here as you're opening to this page. I'm going to go ahead and start gluing this down, and what will be really important, now you can see that I fussy cut that out. It will be important that I put the glue around the cut edge so it lays nice and flat and not peeking up. And then I put this on a really stiff white cardstock, that 100-pound weight that I'm working with. And I didn't want to use a tan or something brown, so I used a couple layers of the 110 so that there was white showing through here and not an off color if it was to show through. All right, I want to put this right back where I cut it out from. So now we have a nice elevated edge. I'll do it now while I'm here. All right. I'm going to run the tape. Now I prepared ahead of schedule because I have to put the pearls on the crocheted ribbon. Wait a minute, hold on. And it's a little heavy, so I definitely want to put some glue down to help the tape. Glue's going to give me a chance to get this positioned, and then I can I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to burnish it from this side. All right, this side will be taped down. There we go. Let's give it a bit of a burnish. And then okay, I want to set this in here, and I want to make sure that I'm covering that magnet, which means I'm pulling it this way just a little bit, not too awfully much. Once I get the ribbon down, it's not going to show. Okay, now this pocket here, again, measures at 2 1/4 by 8 7/8. I have got glue all over my fingers. It drives me crazy. I had purchased a bottle of glue last fall so that I would make sure that I would have it through the winter, because the type of glue I use, they don't ship in the winter in certain places, and that's the art glitter glue. Well, I went to go put it, a big bottle, refill my small bottle, and realized that it needed to be shook because it had separated. I didn't use it soon enough. And I just got glue all over my fingers. Okay, so now this hides the extra that I had to pull it this way to make sure that the magnet got covered. And then we have this beautiful piece. It's out of my scraps, but it's this side I want, which is the floral. I'm kind of treating it like it's a big bouquet of flowers, a bridal bouquet. Excuse me. Oh gosh, excuse me, summer allergies. Now, where is she? Here she is. And she's off of one of the fussy cut pages. Okay. Oops, you know what? I gotta pull that up real quick. Oh, I guess I don't have much of a choice. Well, shoot. That's not gonna fit on there, I don't think. Oh, it will fit. I'll just be covering her up just ever little bit. Not too much. Her skirt comes over. Her skirt comes over to this edge, so I could have trimmed that off and flattened it out a little bit, but I like the flow of the skirt. So we'll cover up the front of it. Well, come on. And I'm going to snip off the front end of this. There we go. I'm going to add a little bit of glue here so that this string of small pearls will line up with just a second. I'm grabbing for something here. I need to make sure that this stays in place for a little bit. Okay, if I was to turn this toward me and not worry about turning it in front of you, I could get this clamp on here a lot easier. Now, did that move? Yes. Get in there. one of the trials of crafting is to get things to turn out the way you want it to. Okay, and then we're going to work on this piece. So grab my tape. Take that off. Let's put our bead of glue. I think we're done. Okay, so see, that closes up so that we've got two different beads, and I know probably to someone's eye that looks strange, but to me, I'm using this kind of as a separation. So here's its separate element, here's the matching side, and then when you open these up, you have your elements, your pockets, your big pocket, places for large photos, which everyone has in weddings, and then here's a spot for either some journaling, storytelling, memories, and then this is going to close and this will close. Okay, let's turn it over and let's get some of the big tape on. We can get this in our album. And then I'm going to put 3 strips of tape down the center, 3/8, because it's a wide panel. I want to make sure that there's plenty of security for keeping this all together. Yep, that's the end of that. Now, depending on what type of lace, if you're using pearls, you will find that the multiple layers in here that you've got quite a raised bump. Okay, that's stuck. Especially along here, along the bottom, because this and this and this. So just be aware of that. Okay, so this is going to come in here. I'm bringing it all the way to the edge, and you can see that I'm barely in this gap that I want to keep. So I might back that off just a hinge. I'm going to turn it this way. I just found the lid to my undo. Oh. And I'm going to take this and these 3 off. Again, I'm going to bring it right to, oops, stop. What do we got going here? Well, I can see right now. Now, I made a cutting mistake, but it's not horrendous, so it shouldn't bother your album too much. But I had cut this the same height as I did the panel. I should have cut this a little shorter, so we'll do that on the next one. Now this is going to be a bit of a challenge to burnish these edges because of all of the fancy pearly stuff I put in this. So I will just go about it a little differently so that I don't have to really scrub too much. Okay. So I'll just be cutting these panels a little bit shorter so they're not literally end to end. Okay, so there we go. There you have it. Again, nice. You can put a statement up here if you wish, or you can put their names up here if you've got a Cricut machine. If you've got lettering, you can stencil out. You want to put their name up here, but it'd be great for a photo. In particular, I think one of the bride that matched this, that would be great. So there you have it. I'll see you on the next signature. Until then, bye-bye.